Welcome to Kamal's Biology. Today I am going to talk about beta oxidation. Well, friends, beta oxidation of fatty acid. This is the topic that we are going to discuss today. So, fatty acid. Fatty acid in body mostly oxidized by beta oxidation, and other types of oxidation of fatty acid is alpha oxidation and omega oxidation. So, oxidation of fatty acid on the beta carbon is known as beta oxidation. In this process, there is the removal of two carbon fragments at a time, and there is the formation of acetyl-CoA. It occurs in tissue, but there are some tissues in the body. They are brain, erythrocytes, and adrenal medulla. They cannot utilize fatty acids for energy requirement. So, friends, what is beta oxidation? So, beta oxidation is the oxidation of fatty acid on the beta carbon, which ultimately forms acetyl coenzyme A at the end, and that acetyl coenzyme A is a high energy compound that will goes inside the mitochondrial matrix, that will be produced in the that when enters in Krebs cycle forms high amount of ATP. Look at the first step, the activation of fatty acids that takes place in the cytoplasm or cytosol. Here fatty acid is converted to acyl-CoA with the help of thiokinase enzyme. During this process, 2 ATP is used because from ATP, AMP is released. By the attachment, AMP is released. It means there is the investment of 2 ATP in the activation step. So please note this point. Here we have to give 2 ATP. 2 ATP is invested. Investment of 2 ATP. So this fatty acid is activated by the help of thiokinase enzyme to acyl coenzyme A. The activated compound is acyl-CoA, coenzyme A. So another next step is transport of acyl-CoA into mitochondrial matrix. So this acyl coenzyme A that is formed in the activation step, okay, this will be carried in the mitochondrial matrix, and in the mitochondria you can find outer and inner membrane. So in the outer membrane there is carnitine acyltransferase first, okay, and in the inner membrane there is carnitine acyltransferase second. So these two enzymes has a main role in the transport of acyl-CoA into mitochondria. Okay, let me show that. So look here, this is acyl-CoA. Now the carnitine, the first carnitine acyltransferase, look here, this is found at the outer membrane. Okay, this will provide carnitine to acyl-CoA and CoA SH is released, and now this acyl group enter here along with the support of this carnitine. Now what will happen? This acyl group again makes acyl-CoA, okay, acyl-CoA again, because of carnitine acyltransferase second that is found in the inner membrane, and the carnitine that was attached with acyl group is released because of this carnitine acyl transferase, and it will come out here, and again the cycle repeats. So you have to remember the name carnitine acyl transferase first, found at outer membrane, that takes acyl group attached with carnitine. Again carnitine transferase second will take the carnitine, and acyl group will be attached with CoA by this fatty acids, activated fatty acid. Acyl CoA is transported in the inner membrane of matrix of mitochondria. Okay, this is the carnitine system. So this is the activity, the activation of fatty acid takes place there, and the carnitine transport system, this takes place in the cytosol, and inner membrane of mitochondria is here. The carrier protein carnitine acyl translocase is present here. Now what will happen then? Acyl carnitine, look here, this acyl group is converted to acyl carnitine. This acyl carnitine will be carried by the carrier protein carnitine acyl translocase, and this will form acyl carnitine. Again this carnitine will be released here, and it will come out by the help of carnitine acyl shuttle. Okay, second one. So in this way, when activated fatty acid goes inside the matrix of mitochondria, then beta oxidation of fatty acid will start there. So the beta oxidation proper is very easy to understand, because ultimately you should understand that the fatty acid should make what? That fatty acid should make acetyl coenzyme. Okay, acetyl CoA, the required compound to undergo Krebs cycle. So at first oxidation of acyl coenzyme takes place by the help of enzyme dehydrogenase. Again hydration, that means hydratase enzyme, there will be the hydration, addition of water. Again there should be oxidation and cleavage. Oxidation, hydration, oxidation and cleavage, these are the steps that takes place in the beta oxidation proper. So the enzymes are acyl CoA, so the enzymes are dehydrogenase, okay, that is acyl CoA dehydrogenase, enoyl CoA hydratase, okay, that will form beta hydroxyl acyl CoA, and again oxidation takes place by the help of beta hydroxyl acyl CoA dehydrogenase. It is very easy to remember the name because this compound undergo dehydrogenation, okay, oxidation. So dehydrogenase will be the enzyme. This compound has to go oxidation, and the name of the enzyme is dehydrogenase, that will remove hydrogen. Okay, similarly cleavage is done by thiolase, and finally acetyl CoA and acyl CoA will be formed. Okay, acyl CoA and acetyl CoA, This is the final product. Look here. The activated acyl coenzyme A. Okay. It comes in the matrix of mitochondria, and then it should undergo oxidation. First step is oxidation. For oxidation, the name of the enzyme is dehydrogenase. You have to add acyl. Okay. Acyl CoA. What is the name of enzyme? Dehydrogenase. I have already told you, if there is dehydrogenase, then hydrogen should be, there should be the formation of NADH or FADH2. So in this first step, FAD is converted to FADH2. So here is the formation of one high energy compound FADH2. It enters in electron transport chain and gives how many ATP? 1.5 ATP. Actually, this is the ATP that comes from one FADH2, but we used to write 2 ATP. Let's say 2 ATP. Okay, 2 ATP. Again, there will be the addition of water, hydration. The trans-enol coenzyme A will be formed from acyl CoA. Trans-enol CoA will be formed by the help of dehydrogenase enzyme. Now addition of water. So the compound is trans-enol CoA. So the name of the enzyme is enol CoA hydratase. Now you can see here, there is the formation of beta hydroxyacyl. Why hydroxy? So this is a beta carbon. In beta carbon, there is the addition of OH group. So beta hydroxyacyl CoA is formed. So again, after hydration, the second step, the third step should be oxidation. Oxidation requires dehydrogenase enzyme. So beta hydroxyacyl CoA, name of the enzyme is dehydrogenase. So easy. Okay. Then in this step, there is the formation of NADH. This NADH will go in electron transport chain, and we will get how many ATP? 2.5 ATP. But we will write here how many? 3 ATP from one NADH. 3 ATP. Okay. 3 ATP. Because different books follow different amount of ATP that will be generated from NADH and FADH2. Now what will be the last? The last one is cleavage. So this will be done by which enzyme? Acyl CoA acetyl transferase. So acetyl group. So acyl CoA acetyl transferase. Transferase means addition of CoA is done here, and final product is acyl CoA carbons, that is acyl CoA 2 carbon shortened. Shortened means from fatty acid 2 carbons. If this fatty acid contains 16 carbon, if that acyl group or fatty acid has 16 carbon, then there is the removal of 2 carbon. It means it has 14 carbon left, and acyl CoA is formed, but that has 2 carbon cleaved to form acetyl CoA. Acetyl CoA. So in beta oxidation of fatty acid, in one cycle there is the removal of 2 carbon. Okay, and again there is the formation of acyl. Okay, there is the formation of acyl or fatty acyl CoA that has carbon which is less by 2. Now look here, this is the palmitic acid that is activated. If palmitic acid is activated and that is transported to mitochondrial matrix. Then we have to write palmitoyl CoA. This is activated palmitic acid. It undergo first oxidation by dehydrogenase enzyme. Look here, and there is the production of FADH2. Again, addition of water means hydration. There is the addition of water. The enzyme name is hydratase. Now oxidation, hydration, again oxidation. Here is the dehydrogenase enzyme and formation of NADH. And now with the help of thiolase or acetyl transferase, acyl CoA, acetyl transferase or thiolase enzyme, there is the formation of acetyl CoA and acyl CoA, myristoyl CoA, and this palmitoyl coenzyme has 16 carbon, but here is carbon 14 because 2 carbon is decreased, is caught during one beta oxidation cycle from this palmitic acid, palmitoyl CoA. Okay, so in one cycle fatty acid, in one beta oxidation fatty acid will lose 2 carbon. So here is 14 carbon, from 16 carbon it has 14 carbon. So this cycle goes round again and again till all this carbon is splitted, released from the activated fatty acid to form acetyl CoA. It means we get a lot of energy from fatty acid. So fatty acid stores a large amount of energy. Now energetic of palmitic acid oxidation. You should know that palmitic acid has 16 carbon and in one beta oxidation it will lose 2 carbon, and again there is remaining 14 carbon in this palmitic acid. Now it can again go in beta oxidation and again lose 2 carbon. So this process continues and palmitic acid undergoes 7 cycles because 7 2s are 14, because it will lose 2 carbon in one cycle. It means 7 2s are 14 and one acyl coenzyme is already formed here, If we have to join this also, so it will undergo 7 cycles. So 7 cycles means how many FADH2 form in one cycle? One FADH2 will be formed. In 7 cycles, 7 FADH2 will be formed. So from one FADH2, when it goes in ETC, we get 2 ATP. 2 means 7 into 2 equals to 7 to the 14. But in some books you can see 7 into 7 into 1.5 because 1 FADH2 equals to 1.5 ATP actually. Okay, so there may be some difference. Now from 7 cycles there is the formation of 7 NADH. So 7 into 3 equals to 7 3 is 21. And from one acetyl coenzyme I have already told you that we will get how many ATP? 12 ATP. So from 8 acetyl CoA we will get 12 into 8 means 96 ATP. So total energy from one molecule of palmitoyl CoA equals to 131. But I have mentioned you that during activation process we had given 2 ATP. So we will now what will we do? We have to subtract 2 ATP because in activation step we get 2 ATP. Now total ATP that we obtain will be 129. Okay, you have to understand that. So now I will move in next one, that is oxidation of OR chain fatty acids. So oxidation of odd chain fatty acids is similar to that of even chain fatty acid. There is no any difference. At the end, 3 carbon unit propionyl CoA is produced. At the end, there will be the formation of 3 carbon unit. This is one thing that you have to remember. Now propionyl CoA is converted into succinyl CoA. Then the succinyl CoA will be formed, and succinyl CoA is an intermediate of TCA cycle. Propionyl CoA is gluconeogenic. Here is a slide that has described the conversion of propionyl CoA to succinyl CoA. Please go through this sudden infant death syndrome. Unexpected death of healthy infants usually overnight due to deficiency of medium chain acyl CoA dehydrogenase. So if there is the deficiency of medium chain acyl CoA dehydrogenase, then there is the unexpected death of healthy infants. So glucose is the principal source of energy soon after eating or feeding babies. After a few hours, the glucose level and its utilization decreases, and the rate of fatty acid oxidation must simultaneously increases to meet the energy needs. The sudden death in infants is due to the blockage in beta oxidation caused by deficiency in the medium chain acyl coenzyme. So this acyl coenzyme is very important. If there is no dehydrogenase, acyl CoA dehydrogenase, oxidation cannot take place. No energy will be now. No NADH, no FADH will be formed, and that enters in ETC to give ATP. Because of this reason, the babies lack energy and they will die. Another one is Jamaican vomiting sickness. This disease is characterized by severe hypoglycemia, vomiting, convulsions, coma, and death. It is caused by eating unripe ackee fruit, which contains an unusual toxic amino acid hypoglycin A. This inhibits the enzyme acyl CoA dehydrogenase. Ultimately, if you eat this fruit, then it will inhibit the enzyme acyl CoA dehydrogenase, and thus beta oxidation fatty acid is blocked and leading to various complications. If this enzyme cannot work, then you will suffer from sickness. Oxidation of unsaturated fatty acids means there is the presence of double bond. Okay, so let me explain. Due to the presence of double bond, note this one, the unsaturated fatty acids are not reduced to the same extent as saturated fatty acids. So saturated fatty acids give more energy than unsaturated fatty acid. Therefore, oxidation of unsaturated fatty acid in general provides less energy than that of saturated fatty acid. Note this point. Most of the reaction involved in the oxidation of unsaturated fatty acid are same as found in beta oxidation of saturated fatty acids. Note this. However, the presence of double bonds poses problem for beta oxidation to proceed. This is overcome by two additional enzymes. So there is two additional enzymes, that is isomerase and reductase. These are the enzymes that supports the beta oxidation process to go on in that place where there is double bond. Now, what is alpha oxidation? This is oxidation of fatty acid on alpha carbon atom. So in this removal of one carbon unit from the carboxyl, what energy is not produced, hydroxylation occurs at alpha carbon. It is then oxidized to alpha keto acid. Thus, this keto acid undergoes decarboxylation, yielding a molecule of carbon dioxide and fatty acid with one carbon atom less. In alpha oxidation, fatty acid will lose one carbon. Similarly, peroxisomes. Alpha oxidation is mainly used for fatty acids that have a methyl group at the beta carbon, which blocks beta oxidation. Major dietary methylated fatty acid is phytanic acid. It is derived from phytol present in chlorophyll, milk, and animal fats. Repsom's disease, that is this is Repsom's disease due to deficiency of enzyme alpha hydroxylase phytanic acid. So this disease caused due to the deficiency of this enzyme. Alpha oxidation does not occur in the absence of this disease. Phytanic acid is not converted into the compound that can be degraded by beta oxidation. phytanic acid accumulates in the tissue. Restricted dietary intake of phytanic acid, including milk, is good source of phytanic acid. Okay. Now, omega oxidation means minor pathway that takes place in microsomes. Okay, endoplasmic reticulum, catalyzed by hydroxylase enzyme involving NADPS. This NADP is produced in pentose phosphate pathway and cytochrome P450. So methyl group is hydroxylated to CS2OH and subsequently oxidized with the help of NADPS to COOH group to produce dicarboxylic acids. The slide that shows you the here the fatty acids, mixed function of oxidase here, and fatty omega hydroxy acid formation, and then fatty omega hydroxyl acid with the help of alcohol dehydrogenase form fatty omega aldo acid. Fatty omega aldo acid with the help of dehydrogenase enzyme, okay, forms fatty dicarboxylic acid. So after these three steps, either end of the fatty acids can be attached to coenzyme A. The molecule can then enter the mitochondria and undergo beta oxidation. The final products after successive oxidation include succinic acid, which can enter the citric acid cycle, and adipic acid. The process is normally a minor catabolic pathway for medium chain fatty acids, 10 to 12 atoms, but becomes more important when beta oxidation is defective. So if beta oxidation is defective, this omega oxidation will support. When beta oxidation is defective and dicarboxylic acids are excreted in urine, causing dicarboxylic aciduria. So friends, in next video I'll explain how to calculate total ATP from complete hydrolysis of unsaturated fatty acid.